and Michigan got the 6 sacks against Jalen Milroe. One of the biggest questions was, can Michigan contain Milroe? Yeah, they absolutely can. First up, we've got Penn State, Illinois. We're going to go through each of the games. Well, we got 3 games. First up, Penn State, Illinois. We got 5 minutes for each game.
Looking for some bigger prey. They're hungry for that bigger win, and this could be it. If they can take down Penn State. I said, nevertheless. Why did I say I said?
The former 3rd string, now 2nd string quarterback, and people on Twitter are talking. Should he be the starter now?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the post-Rose Bowl Michigan Chatter. I am your host, Cliff, right here on Big Ten Team Rivalry, although we may not use the Big Ten part of the Team Rivalry for much longer. But what we will be using for quite some time to come is our co-host, Mackenzie. Mac, how you doing?
You're going to use me for like quite some time to come? Yay!
Yeah, you're hired. You've got a lifetime contract.
Sweet. Can we talk about my pay?
No.
Cool. All right.
All right. So as everybody knows, Michigan won the what year is this? The 2024 Rose Bowl. Let me say that again. All right, everybody. We know Michigan won the 2024 Rose Bowl by defeating Alabama 27-20. Wow.
Woo! What a game.
That was fantastic. It was a fantastic game. Honestly, we didn't. It's difficult to find the words because it's been such a long time since Michigan has had such a string of success, and as we know, Michigan has never been all that great in the postseason. But here we are, they're sitting on their first playoff win, a Rose Bowl win over Alabama, one of the greatest teams in college football. Just really excited about that. Michigan is now 9-12 in Rose Bowl games. They actually hold, and I said this on the short that I recorded right after the Rose Bowl, that Michigan had the Rose Bowl win record. They have the Rose Bowl win record in the Big Ten. So 9 wins in the Big Ten puts them at the top of the Big Ten, which is going to be a short-lived record because guess who has the most wins at the Big Ten that is joining the Big Ten next year?
USC?
I'm sorry. Yeah, USC has 25 Rose Bowl wins, so it's going to take a while for anybody else to get over that.
Most of those are probably against Michigan too.
A lot of them are, yeah.
Yeah.
Michigan has the record for consecutive Rose Bowl losses too. The three in a row.
Oh yeah.
And I forgot what year. I think it was like 70, 71, 72, or 71, 72, 73, right in there. This is Michigan's first playoff win, which again is huge, breaking that postseason curse. Also, they set another record. Blake Corum set a record for rushing touchdowns. He has 56 rushing touchdowns on his career, which puts him number 1 in Michigan rushing touchdowns, beating out Anthony Thomas, who was on, coincidentally enough, the 97 national championship team for Michigan. And another fantastic season for Michigan that year. That was an undefeated season.
Mm-hmm.
So now we want to get into our general reaction. Mac's going to get into more of his statistical reaction to what happened in the Rose Bowl, and then we want to go through some of the comments from you Alabama fans who were kind of rude to us.
We brought the receipts.
Yeah. So here we are. So Mac, Michigan wins 27-20. The series is now 3-3. Can you give us a breakdown on the game? What did you see, and how does it? Well, don't talk about the national championship too much because we're gonna get that in the next video. But what do you got for us?
All right, so I'm going to preface this by saying that we are both getting over colds.
Oh yeah, I meant to say that.
So if things seem a little slow, it's because of that.
Yeah.
In any case, yeah, I had to watch the Rose Bowl last night with my heart pounding with cold and flu medicine coursing through my veins, which, the decongestant just amps everything up that much more. So I'm having a heart attack on the couch watching that last play. Almost died. It was great. Yeah, so here's the thing. Last night was kind of a weird game because the positives are that Michigan has defeated Alabama to win their first CFP game, right? They defeated Alabama in the Rose Bowl, no less, which is, obviously huge for Michigan fans. There's a lot of tradition there. They did it by playing one of their worst games of the season, kind of. I mean, so here's the thing. Who was I listening to earlier that said, Rich Eisen said kind of what I was thinking at the time last night. Michigan gets the ball to start the game, and J.J. McCarthy immediately throws an interception.
Yeah, that hurt.
And right there, I'm like, okay, it's going to be that kind of game. I'm just going to sit back and be entertained because it's okay. We can lose. We beat Ohio State. We won the Big Ten. I'm happy. That's fine. But then they started to throw some punches. Because, then the muffed punt happened, and I really thought, okay, all right, we're done. This was fun. This is great season, guys. Let's move on. But then Alabama throws the first punch. They draw a first blood, but Michigan punches back. Michigan puts together, I saw on Twitter, somebody was saying that they really wanted to see a 12-play, 75-yard drive that ended in a touchdown. And that is exactly what happened. And it culminated with Blake Corum catching his first touchdown reception of the season. And that's kind of what I want to point out here is that, so Michigan, they like to run the ball, obviously. That's half their identity this year is running the ball. It's been more of their identity in years past. They beat Alabama by throwing the ball last night. They had actually, when the offense was firing on all cylinders, they had a really balanced offense. But J.J. McCarthy, for as bad as some of his throws were, he put up 221 yards passing on 17 completions for an average of 8.2 yards per reception and 3 touchdowns.
Nice.
He had a great game. Yeah. And it's funny because the game ends and you're like, man, JJ looked shaky and he had to be bailed out a few times. And that's absolutely true. But let's think about this for a second. JJ looking shaky is throwing for 221 yards and 3 touchdowns and Michigan beating Alabama in the Rose Bowl. So that's pretty good. What makes this even more impressive is the fact that while Alabama actually put up more rushing yards than Michigan, and you think about games past, whoever has the more rushing yards tends to be the victor, right? This is true with the Ohio State game. I believe this is also generally true with the Penn State rivalry. Alabama had more rushing yards. They had about 42 more rushing yards. They put up 172 yards rushing, and yet Michigan wins the game. That is outside the realm of what we know of Michigan's offensive identity. And that's huge. That's just crazy. The fact that Michigan was able to completely change their identity. And that's what I'm thinking so far.
I know what you mean. It was that third quarter. When did I'm trying to remember when exactly Michigan lost the lead, but
it was third, I think.
Was that in the third quarter? They lose the lead, and I had that same feeling that, okay, so they gave it their shot and it's over now. And man, like you said, they kept fighting and they came back, and to tie it up, to go into overtime was just, I don't know. It was such a wild game. Like you said, I just didn't expect it. It goes back to when Rich Rod was coaching. And I think they even wrote about that. I think John Bacon wrote about it in his book, that 3 and Out, that you could tell there was a play that happened and the game was over for Michigan. And it was usually somewhere early in the third quarter that some play would happen and the rest of the game, Michigan was just done. And they kept losing and losing, even though he had better progressive years. But it took so long for Michigan to get out of that habit that it sort of happens here in the Rose Bowl, that play happens, that Michigan loses the lead. And I was just sort of bracing for that, they're done, but they weren't. Yeah. And they come back, they take it in overtime. And then everybody's been posting that last, their reaction to that last stand in the overtime. And yeah, I had the same thing. I mean, I jumped out of my chair and I was just shouting all over the living room. And then of course the game was over and then I had to call you and we're both shouting at each other. Ah! It was just fantastic. It's such a turnaround. It's such a new Michigan team or yeah, it's a new Michigan team. I was almost going to say it's like going back to the glory days, but no, it's not that. We don't want to go back to that. This is new football. This is new Michigan, and it garners and generates a lot of intrigue for the coming season with the 4 new teams coming in, and that Michigan really is going to be competitive. They're going to challenge them, and it's something to look forward to that makes football fun. Of course, if you're a Michigan fan, it makes football fun. If you're not a Michigan fan and you're in the Big Ten, it may not be as fun, but still, yeah, it was just fantastic.
Well, and it also puts a lot of like what the haters were saying, the haters were saying with the sign stealing, the only reason Michigan is any good is because of the sign stealing,
Right.
The one low level staffer, and all respect to Connor Stallions, who is a military veteran. Thank you, Connor Stallions, for your service. This one low level staffer who paid people to go take video of a sideline with an iPhone. The same thing that every fan does in the stadium, and you expect that to actually make a difference. They don't have him for the 4 toughest games of the season, and they still win.
They still win.
This is so the culture of this team is completely different, and the statistics. So the statistics kind of tell that story. I think the most surprising thing of the statistics is the fact that an Alabama Crimson Tide football team only put up 116 yards passing.
Wow.
I mean, that's it. So I don't exactly think of Alabama as a run-first team. I think of them as really balanced. What?
No, I think I just snorted in the microphone. That's okay.
Nope. We'll cut that.
Yeah.
I think of Alabama as really balanced. But the thing is that even with as much as Alabama had, some success on the ground, their Jace McClellan, got a lot of L's in his name. Very, very good player, played extremely well. And yet he couldn't break 100 yards against Michigan. And Michigan got the 6 sacks against Jalen Milroe. One of the biggest questions was, can Michigan contain Milroe? Yeah, they absolutely can.
Yeah.
And for as good as Alabama is, it was crazy to see some of the pre-snap issues they were having, the snap issues that they were having, the high snaps, the low snaps, the fumbles, the passing, what do you call that? Pass rush. They couldn't stop Michigan's pass rush. And it's not like Michigan was like dominant in their pass rush. I mean, they're good. They're solid for sure, but they're a very well-rounded defense. So there's no one part of them that you look at and say like, oh, well, if you take that away, then you can beat Michigan's defense. And that absolutely showed against Alabama's offensive line, which was just crazy to me. I mean, it's not like if this is Nick Saban's worst team, which they're saying this is his worst team since 2008, I think. Okay. I don't care. I don't care because this team, I mean, I was saying before the game that, Alabama is beatable because of what happened against USF. Yeah, the South Florida. What happened against Auburn. And those games absolutely showed their vulnerability. The Georgia game, on the other hand, showed what Alabama can do when they're firing on all cylinders. So whether or not you think Florida State should be in this game, I think Alabama probably would have boat raced Florida State, just given what we saw against Georgia. I mean, I understand Florida State had the opt-outs, and I'll wrap up here in a second. But whether or not you believe that Alabama should have been there, they're a really good team. And yet Michigan still beat them, which is crazy.
To see 2 teams of that caliber making the mistakes they were making just kind of shows you what pressure they were under this year, I think. Yeah. I think that's what that amounts to. Okay, in our last couple of minutes, let's take a look at some of these comments that we got. Now, not all of the comments are bad. We have a lot of comments coming in now. Thankfully, we've got enough subscribers and enough viewers that we're getting some really good comments and some complimentary comments. So we like that. But the fun ones are the hater comments. And we're going to take a look at a couple of these. This is the one. So Wan Rogers, 6249, said, Clifford and the other guy, don't worry about going any further. Enjoy your 13-0 record until it changes to 13-1. Well, Wan Rogers, it's 14-0 now. This comment is also what led to me saying in a couple of those videos, if you haven't seen them, where I had to explain who Mac is, which I say every video. So I don't know what this guy was doing. But there we are. What did you think of that one, Mac?
He wasn't paying attention because, you do say that. Although I'll give him a little bit of credit because for the longest time I wasn't putting my name right there, in that little yellow box.
Right.
I was putting cute little stupid sayings. So I get it. But that's Mr. Other Guy to you. Mr. Wan Rogers.
All right.
But also thank you for watching. We appreciate it.
So this comment from, how do you say that? Zuget Sui?
Yeah.
Zuget Sui 9971. Michigan fans are about to get a wake-up call. What is that? Laughing so hard I'm crying emoji. Alabama is boat racing Michigan by 25 plus. Well, the only team that scored 25 plus was not named Alabama.
Granted,
but I like the next guy. Say that again?
I said, granted, it was a close game. It wasn't a blowout.
It was a fantastically close game.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that next part. Michigan owns the boat. Bama losers. And then Zuget Sui said again, coming from a Michigan fan, the same Michigan that can't win a playoff game. Well, can't say that anymore.
We did.
All kinds of things changed. And then he says, remember the last 2 times you played Alabama? Yeah, I do. And it was awful. But here we are.
Whatever.
Whatever. Let's not live in the past. See, isn't that, that's what they're always telling us, quit living in the past. And yet all of these comments are, yeah, but we always beat you guys before. Well, not now.
It's not like college football is always a bastion of reasonable arguments or anything, which I get. We're all very emotionally charged. We all love our teams and stuff like that. But yeah, and who knows if this Zuget Sui guy actually thinks that, but let's live in the present, right? Right. Anyway, also thank you for watching. We appreciate it.
The last comment we're going to look at, this guy said, I'll be back to Michigan chatter after the game. Roll Tide, Long Face City on January 1st. We said, look forward to seeing you. Okay, Mr. User CE3JS9DWS6K. Your friend Lemma07 wanted us to keep our word. Well, we're here and we're happy. Where are you? Good to hear from you, if we hear from you. Come on back and let us know.
Also, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it.
Also, thank you for watching. Those were our fun 3 comments for this. We've gotten so many. It's kind of fun because we're actually getting to a point where it's hard to answer all of them, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. 2 of the things we're doing here with this show is we're trying to make football fun again. Not that we're the only ones doing it, but that is our mission and goal. And we like to entertain. We like to make people laugh and just have fun talking football. So I'm glad a lot of you people are joining in, and look forward to hearing from you some more. The live stream we did the other night for the Cotton Bowl was just so much fun. We had a great time doing that. I hope we can do that again next season. I think that's
there was one guy, and I wish I could remember his name. He was just trying to trash talk, and I thought he was being mean. And so I apologized in the comments, but I just want to publicly say, I'm sorry. I genuinely feel bad about that. I thought you were just being a jerk. My bad, dude. Really, I'm sorry.
Sometimes it's hard to tell. You want to trash talk, but you want people to know you're just having fun trash talking. But it's hard to do when it's a comment on a video. So
it is. So next time, if you could use like a winking emoji or maybe an LOL,
just give it away. Give it away.
Yeah, throw me a bone here, dude. Like, come on.
And I think that's going to do it for our Rose Bowl recap. We really just wanted to just sort of glory in the win. And I think that's what we did. Mac, anything you want to add to it?
Go Blue!
Go Blue!
On to Washington.
We're going to go talk about the upcoming national championship that Michigan will be a part of. So keep an eye out for that video. Mac, take us out.
This is Rose Bowl champion Michigan chatter on Big Ten Team Rivalry. That didn't roll as nicely as I was hoping it would. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend watching football. Have fun watching football. Remember, #MakeFootballFun again. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. This is Big Ten Team Rivalry.